Good morning, and welcome to today's edition of Timeout with Licky. Now, a few years ago, when Bukayo Saka, the one that plays for Arsenal Football Club in London, chose to play for England rather than Nigeria, so many people became angry and disillusioned. But what they failed to understand was that there were things that he considered very important to him that made him to make that choice. Okay? So today on Time Out with Licky, we are going to be looking at something that affects virtually, every young person in the world today. Remember that this program is geared towards helping undergraduates and young school leavers to make the right choices that will be favorable to them. All right. So the title of this discussion today is preferability. All right. Yes, preferability, the bedrock or foundation for productivity. Okay. All right. Now we begin like this. If you were asked to choose between a Rolex wristwatch and one Jankara watch that is sold in economy market by Abokis, which one would you choose? Of course, you wouldn't abandon or leave the effigy of a Rolex watch, the sophistication that comes with it, and choose one rubber thing that was, marketed and sold by an Aboki, the people who call Aboki, you know, all those, let's just leave it there, of course, we all know who an Aboki is, all right, yes. So, you see, you prefer a Rolex. Now, many years ago, there was a time that the only cell phone that we had in this country was just 3310, Nokia 3310. I still remember those good old days, those days when, GSM phones were just starting to show up in this country, okay? So we didn't have them before, It was Nitel and the landlines that gave us too much wahala. But thankfully, during the era and tenure of President Olusegun Obasanjo, the GSM and cell phones was introduced. Okay, so today, if you're asked to choose a 3310 and a smartphone, of course you would choose a smartphone, and then throw that 3310 to the bush or into the bush, okay, because it's of no use, in the world of today. So, what are we saying? The thing that makes you to prefer one thing to the other, all right, is what we are going to be discussing today because it doesn't just happen, okay? Yes. Okay, let's even bring it down to the world of human beings. Now, during in Israel, when Saul was asked, no, not Saul. Samuel was asked to go and anoint a king in the house of Jesse, you see. So Jesse brought out his sons, all of his sons, the well-to-do, the able-bodied built ones, and Samuel said, no, the Lord hasn't instructed me to anoint these ones. Is there not another person that is your son that you have not showed me? You see? And that was how David was anointed. You know, the Lord preferred David to all the rest of the sons of Jesse that was showed to Samuel. So there was something, you know, yes, that was something that David was known for, that the other guys were not, you know, doing. So these are the things we want to discuss today. Now, why are we even discussing this? Why do we need to discuss it? What is important? What is the relevance, you know, of this topic today? Okay, because remember, the world is changing drastically, and we all need to, move with, the trend and the current of change that is fast taking place in our generation. Okay, yes. So the first thing is that I would like us to um, look at the way we see things. Last time when I said I am a bricklayer, some people were, are you okay? You have studied up to, this level, and you say you're a bricklayer. Before now, we used to associate that kind of job with people who are illiterate, people who are, why would you say that? Are you okay? Have you gone nuts? Of course, that is the way we see. But what is the difference between a building engineer and a bricklayer? Hmm? It's just the perception, the way we see it, okay? Because actually, a bricklayer is a building engineer. But it's just that we have, created that picture and image in our minds that anybody doing that kind of job is not to be reckoned with. But it's actually something that requires a very high acumen, and know-how to achieve. It's not something that you can just, you just open your mouth and say, "Bring blocks be on top of each other," and then blocks will be on top of. It's we have to start, changing our minds. Now, even if you look at it from the pecuniary aspect, you find out that those guys even make money, but it's just that it's silent. You wouldn't even know, you know? Yes. So that's a change in perception. And then, if we have a change in perception, the next thing we need to talk about is a change in mindset. They said, as a man taketh in his heart, so is he. What goes on in our minds, determine to a large extent, what we do. Okay, yes. And then this was very, very important to even Jesus, himself. He said, "Man, let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus." You see, what he was saying? I want people that are associated with me to be thinking like me. How does Jesus Christ think? Man, anything is possible. If there is someone who is sick, he will heal the person. Yeah. If people need to eat, he will manufacture food miraculously. That's the way he wants us to be thinking. You see? No limit. Hmm? Eh. So, that is why I said it is important that we look at it. If you bring it down to our world today, anything that is very legitimate for you to do to survive, you do it. That is what we are talking about, okay? Yes, legitimately make sure that you are moving forward, whatever it is that you can do to make sure that you are continuing in the trajectory of success and progress. Be doing that thing. That's what we are saying, okay? Don't fold your arms and become very indolent, okay? That is what we are discouraging. Okay, all right. So, having said that, let's look at let's go further and discuss why. You know, why must we change the way we look at things? Okay, because you see, I have been to places, and then I know that there are some experiences that I've had that those of you that I have come back to IMSU to meet do not have today. Okay, so that's why I've decided to make this little contribution. Okay, yes, because you see, when the chips are down, what we can easily do or lay our hands to is to blame people. All right? Yes. For instance, students who do not meet up to the expectation of their parents, by the time they are graduating, if they have a poor result, they will say it is this lecturer that was very wicked to me. That lecturer did this, did that. But there are other students who were in the same class with you. Why didn't the lecturer winch hunt them? You know? So that's it. What did they do differently? What was it that they did, that was different from what you did that caused you to be at loggerheads with your lecturer, if that's even the case? We can easily, blame, this one happened, it was because of this, so, and that is, self-destruction, if you ask me. You should come to that point where you take responsibility for everything that happens. Take responsibility. Don't say it is because of my auntie, because of my wicked stepmother, or because of, no, no, no. Don't blame anybody. You are the architect of your own success or misfortune. Nobody is to blame. Okay? Yes. All right. So why again? The next why is that I just want undergraduates, those of you in IMSU today that I am around, especially those of them in year one, by the time you are graduating, okay, I want you to make good results, be better versions of human beings than you were when you came in, okay? Because I came back from somewhere, all right? And then I've seen the kind of life that people over there live, okay? And then when I just oppose it with what I have here, where it's as if we are in a different world altogether, okay? Yes. What happens here and what happens there, it's totally, you know, not in line, does not even match each other at all, okay? So, and if you're going to be a global player, you wouldn't continue, the way you were doing things and then thinking that there will be a different result, okay? Yes. So that's why I am emphasizing on these things for you. Those of you in year one, thank God you did the matriculation with me the other day, okay? Yes. So that's why I'm very, very, concerned about you, okay? I'm very, very concerned, okay? So that I can see how, I would help. I'll be of help to you, okay? Yes. So you have to look beyond the standard of Owerri, okay? You have to look beyond the culture of Owerri, okay? Yes, because you have to bear in mind that you are now a global citizen, okay? By the time they bring someone from Oxford University in the United States, okay, and the one Oxford in England and whatever, wherever the Oxford is from, okay, you should be able, to stand shoulder to shoulder to the Oxford students. That's what we are saying, what we are talking about today, okay? For instance, I am studying English literature, all right? And I've been thinking, what is it that those who are studying English literature in London are doing right now? Those in Harvard, those in Oxford, what are they doing? Okay? So that's why I push myself the way I push myself to make sure that when I write papers, okay, I share it freely with students of Oxford University in London. Can you imagine? Yes. If I write any book, I will show it to them. Look at what I've written. Tell me what you think about this. All right. So because I have found out that even though it's not going to generate any income, but at least you are telling them that you exist, and they will know that people over here are not apes, like they used to think. Okay, we have come to that level that we are now reasonable. Okay, we can now think and we can compete favorably with them. All right? Yes, that's what I'm. So whatever you are studying, think about those in very, good schools in Nigeria and then abroad. What are they doing? Hmm? That's what will motivate you to work hard. If you must compete, remember when you graduate, someone that entered landmark university or all these private universities in Nigeria, for instance, would be competing for the same position with you. Do you realize that? That's why you have to make sure that you measure up to standard. So have it at the back of your mind that there are few opportunities looking for very prepared people. And if you must be the one to be chosen, then you must be the one who is not just the best, but can stand above others. That's just it. Okay? So those of you in my department, you should be thinking in the next 3 years when I'll be leaving school, because 1 year is virtually gone. In the next 3 years when I'll be leaving, if I come out, would I be able to match the students that just graduated from a very reputed higher institution of learning in Nigeria and abroad? That's just it. Okay? Don't just be thinking about or worrying. It's a mentality that I just want you to, do away with. Okay? Yes, because you will go in somewhere to happen. All right. Now, the next thing that must motivate you to work harder is that you must have to think about how to be effective and useful to not just your family, but when you leave school, you work with people, organizations, internationally and locally. Now, how effective and efficient are you going to be? Okay, remember, I always advise you, if even if you're going to start your own business or you take over from your dad, you go for your NYS, right? So, and if they send you anywhere to any company, you work with people, and it's your contribution that they want to see. All right? So, how favorably are you going to compete with other graduates from other institutions? That's what we're saying. All right? Okay. Now, before we continue, I would just like to ask you this question on a lighter note, okay? Yes. Let's just take a joke and then digest what we have said so far, right? Now, I was pondering, okay, on this thing yesterday, and I said, okay, I'll bring it up today and ask you as a question. Now, if you're a young girl, a university, undergraduate, those of you in year one particularly, I'm very concerned about you. And you know, this is just a scenario that I'm painting, and because of what is prevalent here in our society, and they ask you, you just went out and met this guy, very fine, and he has all the perquisites and the requisites, of a young man, and then the cash seems to be flowing and oozing. You can smell it, okay? And the first thing you will do is to introduce yourselves, right? Yes, he will ask you your name and you ask him his, right? Assuming you introduce yourself, you say, for instance, your name is Tricia, okay, or any other name you might choose, and you now ask the guy, what's your name? And he said, my name is Meto. Meto, I said, Meto who? He said, Meto Kaita. What will you do, Meto Kaita? Yes, remember, you have to interpret that in our local language. Of course, the implication of that name, Meto Kaita. Kaita. All right, that's by the way. Okay, so let's continue. So, how would you become effective? How would you make yourself more, useful and preferable? Okay, what will make you preferable amongst the rest? What will make you preferable? All right. Now, remember that if you go for an interview or for any, you know, any occasion that needs you to introduce yourself, what they'll ask you is, please tell us about yourself. Hmm? Yes, there's a history, what you have done over the years, where you're coming from. Okay? Yes. It is now that you will start working to have a good image of yourself, creating that image that you want to show the world. It has started. The journey has started. The journey of creating that image, that will make you stand out from the rest. For instance, if you study in English and literary studies, my own department, what do you think will make you, compete favorably with someone from other institutions of learning? Now, there is something I want to tell you. It's very, very important for you to. There's a course that people do called spoken English, right? That has to do with the sound system of English language. It has to do with the phonetics and phonology and all those stress time, all those oral aspect of the course that you're studying. Please, I want to beg you in the name of God. If you don't know any other thing until you graduate, make sure you master that thing, because every other thing that you're doing in the course you are studying, any other person can do it. But if you see this aspect that I'm telling you now, the phonetics and the phonology, if you do not know what to do, start now. Learn every English phonetic alphabet, every sound of English language pronunciation system. Make sure that you master it, because that is the area that people run away from, and that's where you have the most problem to solve. All right? Yes, I've been to places, and then I found out. Okay? Apart from the creativity aspect of the course, all right? That phonology, whether you are going to be doing English literature or English language proper, make sure that you know the A to Z. Make sure that you know everything about English phonology. Okay, it gives you an edge. All right. For instance, if you go to any highbrow school, because that's where they are going to post you immediately. That's the very first place they will think of sending you when you graduate. Go and teach in a school, okay? And if you're unlucky and you were sent to a Montessori school, okay, you will make a caricature of yourself, but God forbid, that's not what we're praying for, okay? So that's why I'm telling you this now, okay? If you send it to a good school, to a British school in Abuja or in Lagos or Coronel School, all those highbrow schools, okay? If you mess up, you have not only painted yourself black, you have painted him to black, you have painted him mustard black, you have painted your family black. Okay? So be prepared. That's why I'm telling you, go and learn the phonetics and the phonology of the course, aspect of the course you're studying. Okay? The creativity aspect comes with time. But that one, you have no excuse whatsoever, because you are going to be taught that in class. Okay, so you don't have any excuse, but it's difficult. I have to say it's a difficult aspect of the course, but if you gloss over it, it will tell in future. All right? Okay, I think I've stressed that enough. Okay, yes. Now, what will make you, another thing that will make you preferable than the rest is your achievement. What have you achieved in that area that you have studied? What is it that you have done? Before I start coming for the course I'm studying now in AIMSU, okay, I started writing very, very aggressively, okay? When I started writing in 2019 during the heat of COVID-19, people were laughing at me. What is wrong with this one? That's when I wrote Torn Apart, the Torn Apart that most people have pirated today and selling. Okay, that's when that journey started. You know, um, I was condemned by everybody around. Are you stupid? But I understood that what I wanted to do, mhm, it is going to be very, very important. That is going to, the writing will play a vital role, what I want to do in the future. And that's why I started it. And I wrote Turn Apart as an experiment. And guess what? Immediately I finished Turn Apart, and God helped me. I got a connection to publish it on Amazon. All right. I began to get ideas on other things to write. I started as if I'm like a child, a toddler, learning how to walk. And then what happened? I got an idea of how to write a rise from the rubble. After that, I wrote strewn, all right? After that, Spirogyra is what you have seen just this year. And then I am also working on another novel which I don't want to disclose now because there are other people involved. Okay, it's a collaborative effort. So what am I saying? What evidence do you have to show? Okay, yes, that is what is going to count, give you an edge over others. Okay, if I go for any interview, they said they need a creative writing lecturer or a creative writing teacher. I would have to, in fact, if you look at my CV and see the number of things that I've written, you know that I'm a very, very creative person, okay? God has blessed me with that talent. So, that is it. What can you show as the evidence of what the skill that you have acquired, the knowledge that has been taught to you over the years? That is what we're talking about, okay? All right. So, the next thing that has to come to your mind is in the next 5 to 10 years, remember there's going to be a transition from the way things are done now to the way things are, going to be done in the next 10 years. There's this technological innovation going on, you know. Um, for instance, in the future, I am a writer, okay? It's not going to be just to write a novel and leave it, okay? There is now audiobook, okay? Have to learn to be converting that. There is also science fiction, all right? Which people, Westerners have started writing over the years, okay? Yes. I have to start, learning and adapting to how to write, technological write write things. Okay, yes, there are. I don't know how to describe it to you. Not fictional writing anymore, but embracing. There's this fusion of technology and arts. Okay, that's the future of the course you're studying. Okay, so what steps am I taking to make sure by the next 10 years I will fit in? Okay, that's what um, we're talking about. Okay, what have you done? What are you doing? To make sure that in the next future, in the nearest future, you will be relevant. Okay, that's it. All right, so the next one is you must have to have a backing, right? Most of the things that I'm doing today, the soft crackle, the writing, the other things that I'm doing, I didn't know that I will be able to do them, okay? Yes. I know exactly on a certain day I was in Lagos, precisely in Unilag, okay? I remember I went to a particular denomination and a pastor was saying there's someone here. What you are going to be doing in the nearest future that will announce you to the world, you have not started doing it. That was in 2017. But it will look as if you are not the person that is doing it when you start. And that is exactly what has happened to me over the years. Since that prophecy, I've been able to do the things that I didn't know that I could ever do. All right? Yes. The things I'm doing today, I never knew that I'll be able to do them. Okay? Yes. So that's what we're saying. Everybody and everyone in the universe connects to a higher source. Those in fraudulent activities, those who are doing ritual killing, they connect to the supernatural. Okay? Yes, that's what I'm saying. Okay? Exactly what I have to have a spiritual backing, a higher backing. Okay? For us, we do not do ritual. We don't do Yahoo Yahoo, ritual killing. Okay? We believe in God. So God is our own spiritual backing. Okay? So you have to make sure that, you are very, very close with God, because remember, I said the class of people I'm talking to are not people who have made up their mind to do Yahoo Yahoo. No, that's not the people I'm talking about, talking to in this section at all. I'm talking to people who have decided to be world-class global citizens, that in the next few years, if you ask of the next generation of Achebes, of Clark, of Neo Shundares, when they retire, who are the people that will take over from them? Those are the people I'm talking about now. Okay? Yes. Make sure that you have a spiritual backing to whatever you're doing. It's very, very vital. All right? Yes. And then finally, cultivate the culture of excellence. Okay? Now, this I had the first time from a very renowned preacher, a Nigerian preacher, all right, when I was in Lagos. All right, Sam Adeyemi. There's no Sunday, there's no meeting, there's no conference that he organizes, he would mention excellence. All right? Excellence is the key, right? That's what will give you an edge over others. All right? If we have been of great benefit to you, you know what to do. Please like, follow, and subscribe. So it's